Now I've seen everything. This is the statement my grandma Lila stated as she looked up in the tree, and there I was, 6 years old, 30 feet in the air. Mr. Toastmaster, Toastmasters, most welcome guests. I had this unreasonable, according to Grandma Lila, fear of the water. And yet, I had no fear when it came to climbing a tree. She made this statement at a picnic with my whole family there. This is one of my getaways. I would climb a tree as high as I could. And I'd look down and I'd watch the family management. Grandma Lila was the leader. She ruled with an iron fist, very strict. She made a statement like that. Usually she shook her head. It grabbed everyone's attention and everyone stopped to see what she was making the statement about. Quickly, people gathered underneath, and I was ordered by my dad, first level management, to get down from that tree. And my mother wringing her hands, ready to dive underneath if I was to fall. And the other relatives just wondering, what is this kid going to grow up to be? I liked senior level management from a distance. They always drove the nice cars. They never really did a lot of work, but they offered a lot of advice. Made first level management rather nervous. My favorite manager was Walt, Lila's brother. Walt would pull you to the side in a friendly manner. And he'd say, Jeff, I have to ask you, why are you climbing a tree and you're so afraid of water? And he very appropriately brought me away from the crowd. And a 6-year-old, I gave him the straight, simple answer. Walt, there's no water in that tree. And he laughed. He had a great sense of humor. Great sense of humor. Walt, I admired for a lot of things. He was a very strong man. He was a bricklayer. And then he turned to art. He was a cartoonist. I thought, what a job. This guy had a lot of wit, humor, and the art, the style about him was great. I liked that level of management. In fact, Walt actually had put some bricks, and he was a mason on Assisi Heights here in Rochester. Things change in life. I grew up. I grew out of my fear of water, and I became a plumber. I worked on pipes that could explode any time now in the subways and deep depths of St. Mary's. No fear of drowning. And if I did my job right, no one would know, and everything would work perfect. One day, I was leading a project, and we had to break into a wall. And we had to tie into a new standpipe for our fire protection system. And as we broke into there, sure enough, we find this nice little cute whiskey bottle. I could hear my grandmother's voice. Well, now I've seen everything. But I looked in there and I wonder if Walt was here. I led many projects at St. Mary's. And one of the criticisms, and there was many with Grandma Lila, and she approved of some things I did, but my mom always reminded me of some of the negative. And when I was first born, I was very skinny. And thankfully, I've overcome that. She made the statement that she didn't think I'd ever live. And that really bothered my mom. And here now, working in this hospital, there was a day when I worked on a project in intensive care where the children are so small, so precious, and so little. And the thought comes back to me, how could anyone say anything negative of something so precious? The stress in some of these areas in the hospitals are just immense. Since becoming a Toastmaster, I've learned to kind of lessen that. I've learned lessons from Walt and others of using humor to lighten the mood and still get to the right point and get to the bottom of things. I think of these phrases as senior management when people assess someone so quickly and don't really look at the depths of what the situation is. If I hear anybody saying this phrase that, now I've seen everything, I think of Walt. I think of the better way of management. And now my reply, with the help of Toastmasters, is with all due respect, I'm a Toastmaster, and you haven't seen anything yet. Mr. Toastmaster.